The marketing landscape has completely shifted over the last few years, and it's become increasingly difficult to turn viewers into clients. Gone are the days of being able to post content and wait for your calendar to be flooded with appointments. Instead, you need to be more strategic with the way that you set up your social media platforms. Over the last few years, we've made it our mission to simplify automations and systems for coaches, consultants, and course creators to show them that they can build systems and automations that will streamline their business to allow them to save time and earn a hell of a lot more money in the process. Far too many business owners run a very much one-dimensional marketing system and simply rely on luck and hope to generate calls into their calendar. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to build a business solely based on luck alone. Traffic is the new currency of 2025, and if you want to convert the highest number of viewers into clients, then you need to follow these 4 phases. Inside today's video, I will walk you through the exact plan and the exact strategy behind how we've scaled and worked with over 450 different coaches, consultants, and course creators, and how we've been able to scale our business so quickly.
A lot of business owners make the mistake of running a very much one-dimensional marketing system when it comes to generating leads and sales for their business. For example, Instagram is often one of the most highly used platforms when it comes to generating leads from social media. And a lot of businesses essentially post on Instagram, they wait, they post again, they wait, and they post again. This just essentially is relying on luck, and it's a very much one-dimensional marketing system of posting, waiting, and essentially relying on hope to scale your business. It's not scalable, and it's not going to essentially create predictability in your business. A lot of the time as well, what we'll see is people will post, and then they'll get busy, they'll skip a post, then they'll wait even longer before they post again, and it's just not consistent. Instead, what we want to look at doing is we want to look at creating certain phases inside your business that then allows us to scale certain avenues that floods your business with leads. What this also means is it then allows us to see where the weaknesses are and spend more money on those weaknesses to stop that becoming a limiting factor in your business. A lot of the time, businesses will struggle in this top section, which is the attract section, essentially attracting traffic in. And you'll notice that the goal of this is each section, it gets smaller. So the pool of people in this attract section is bigger than the pool of people in the nurture. The pool of people in nurture is bigger than those that sign and bigger than those that retain. But our goal with business is to cast that attract net as wide as possible, but targeted, and then have systems in place that mean this doesn't have to get really small and we're left with a tiny amount of people at the bottom. Of course, we're going to filter some people out as we move through this, but if we can have systems in place that keeps this as wide as possible with a targeted pool of people, that's the goal of automations to then allow us to scale more. So when we look at attract, this is us essentially getting eyeballs on the business. This is us running paid ads, this is us posting organic content. This is us just building awareness and essentially attracting potential clients towards us, our content, what we do as a business. This nurture phase is essentially us going, we have all these eyeballs, how can we nurture this and essentially build us as an authority? How can we get them to have know, like, and trust in us? And how can we get them to the point that they want to take the next step in the sales process? So for example, this attract section, there's not really an intent with this. People aren't opting into things. People aren't necessarily downloading things. At most, they're watching our content and potentially following us on social media. This nurture phase is we've then got them to opt into something, potentially a lead magnet, potentially they've booked a call, they've taken some form of intent. Generally, it will be following us here, watching our content, following us. Generally here, it will be opting into something like a lead magnet. Then we have them in our ecosystem and we've taken them away from social media. So they're not just on social media now, they're now in our email list. We can retarget them with ads. We can then essentially push email content out to them. We can nurture them. Once we've done that, we nurture them around to the point of them taking the next step in the sales call, which is ultimately booking in a call. And that's where we can then essentially sign them into our product. So we can then sign them and we can convert them into one of our products or services. And the reason this works so well is by the time that this person gets to this signing section, they haven't just seen a cold ad, they haven't just opted into a funnel and instantly booked a call. They have know, like, and trust. You're an authority and they understand you and your product or service, but they're willing and ready to spend larger amounts of money with you, and you'll get less objections on that sales team. What we then want to do though is we want to have systems that will allow us to deliver an incredible service at scale and then retain as many clients as possible that initially sign up. One of the quickest ways for you to scale your business is, instead of just going in and charging a small monthly subscription, charge an upfront fee for X amount of time. It allows you to get cash flow into your business quickly. Off the back end of that, you can sign that client into a monthly recurring model or another upfront process. This then means that you can re-sign people and you constantly have a flood of cash flow coming into your business. I totally understand the perspective of obviously wanting to have monthly recurring revenue. It gives you some form of stability, knowing that if I don't do anything and I continue to deliver an amazing service, generally I have this much money coming in. So that's why having an upfront fee and then moving someone onto a recurring model can work really well. It just allows you to scale quicker because you have cash flow coming in quicker, rather than, say, someone paying £200 a month and you know that they stay for 10 months. That client is ultimately potentially worth £2,000, but they pay £200 at a time and it takes you 10 months to get that payment. You could then package your offer and you could get an upfront payment that allows you to collect cash flow and then sign them onto a subscription model after that. But in order for us to do this, we need to be strategic with the way that we market. And this is where we need to look at top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. So when we look at the top of funnel, what we really want to think about is we're not really having an intent from an ad in this section. For example, what I mean by that is we're not having an intent from the perspective of, we're not trying to get them to book a call. We're not trying to get them to opt into a lead magnet. All we're trying to do is get them to watch our content, and if our content is good enough, follow us. For example, on Instagram, we can run it with a boosted post. The reason a boosted post works really well is you can post that content organically. You can then validate that content organically, and you can then see that, right, my current audience, which is an audience that I want to grow of more people like this post and engage with this post. This is one of my highest engaging posts, so let's push this out to a bigger pool of people. And then we have all that engagement already on there, so it's an established post and then it continues to grow. What we've seen work really well on this, as well as on this post, our goal isn't necessarily to start loads of conversations and get loads of lead magnet opt-ins and things like this, but as a second degree outcome, it works really well as on this post having some form of free call to action. For example, DMing or commenting a keyword such as calories, and then they get their calories automatically calculated in the DMs and sent to them. Something like this can work really well because you're giving something free. I wouldn't do a call to action for a paid offer. They're not warm enough yet, but we want to offer something free. That means that we're boosting a post with the goal of getting people to watch our content and ultimately follow us if the content's good enough. And as a second degree, we might then get someone to comment a keyword or DM a keyword, and then we start another conversation. What you then want to be doing is everyone that follows you, you can then start a conversation with them and you can build more know, like, and trust, and you can be genuine in that. You're not just trying to sell them, you're trying to understand them, you're trying to help them. And if they want more help and you have the ability to supply more help, that's when you can discuss and look at potentially booking the call. When we look at running ads to this, I would only do it if you essentially have posted content organically and that you know that content works. There's no reason to run ads if you don't know what content works organically. When you post content organically, you want to post multiple different variations and obviously take the highest performing one. And the same goes with ads. When you put this out there, you don't just want to run one campaign, one ad set, one ad. You want to run one campaign, 2 to 3 ad sets at different audiences, but keeping as many variables the same as possible and trying to change one variable so you know what is the thing that's impacting getting better results. And then you can have 5 different variations of posts. Then you can constantly change these, pull out the lower performing, put in the higher performing. One point to note with this though is give it some time to get some data behind it. After one day, you won't know if it's the highest performing or the lowest performing. Things change, but at the same time, you don't want to be sloppy and let things run for too long if they're not performing. Now, the goal of this is for us to then have a net as wide as physically possible and get as many eyeballs on the business as we can. Down here, we then want to run into our middle of the funnel ad and our middle of the funnel of our marketing system, and we want to then have more intent behind this now. So the goal of this is we've got this audience, they're going to be in conversations with us because we'll have reached out to them when they follow us, and then we want to now get them into our ecosystem and into our email list, because it means that we can nurture them outside of Instagram, and it also means that we can then take that email list and we can put it into ads and we can target them as well. The bigger your email list is, the less likely you are ever going to have to worry about leads, and the less likely you need to stress about potential Instagram platforms and things getting shut down. So what we want to then do here is we want to then target anyone that's essentially had an intent from here. So someone that's probably watched 50% or more of any of this piece of content, people who have followed us, and people who have engaged with our page within the last 180 days. Depending on the size of your platform, that 180 days can be smaller if you've got a massive audience, but if you don't, 180 days can work quite well. Here, we're targeting these, and at the minute, we're seeing that a Facebook lead form is generally working better than a landing page, but it depends again with your audience. So what I'd do is I'd look at launching these ads, and again, having one campaign, multiple different ad sets, but only changing one variable at a time, so you know what's working and what's not. And then you can ultimately split test a Facebook lead form or a funnel. The Facebook lead form is easier because there's less steps for a lead to submit. They click learn more and it's pre-populated with their details. However, that might then mean that the lead quality is worse because I don't have to go through as many steps. However, this middle of the funnel isn't just hitting cold audiences, they're somewhat warm because they've come through this awareness stage already. But then what this means is we can then essentially be targeted with who we're retargeting with an intent ad to book a call. We can then retarget anyone that's opted into here, and we can then retarget anyone that goes onto the funnel to book a call, but doesn't then book a call. We then have this system of just scooping up all these people, and we can then put forward our guarantee as a business, whatever the guarantee is that you offer to give to clients. For example, I guarantee that you will get this many leads. If not, we will give you your money back and this many days for free. Or I guarantee that you'll have this transformation. If not, I will give you your money back and have this many days for free. Essentially, you have some form of money back guarantee to back up your offer, and you can then put that forwards in an ad, and you can understand that the people who it's going to hit with are people who have been through these sections and they're essentially warm and have an intent already. Because a big thing to sort of realize when it comes to guarantees and offers is if you're putting your guarantee and offer out to people who are cold, then they're probably not a right fit. They're probably just coming through because they see a guarantee and an offer, and they're probably not going to be ideal clients to work with. So this way just allows us to filter clients down and make sure that ultimately the highest intent clients, potential clients, and the warmest leads are down here, and they're then getting scooped up. What this then means is we can spend less down here because they're a warm, high intent audience. We can spend less to scoop them up, and we can spend more on this awareness. So the more money that we put in this awareness, the wider it is, and then we'd spend a little bit less money down here, and then even less money down here, because we're just scooping people up and funneling them through the system. That then allows you to drastically scale up your lead flow and ensure that you're only spending money on ads once you've validated things with your organic audience. For example, you'd only be pushing this out if you validated the posts with your organic audience. You'd only be pushing this certain lead magnet out if you validated this lead magnet as being one that has a good outcome, high conversions, and your audience actually wants and benefits from it. And then down here, you're only putting out an offer that again you've worked with a number of clients on, that you know you can get good results. Because this whole process is essentially void and won't work if you get people in, you don't deliver a good service and they drop off, because you'll then always have to outspend everyone else. If you can have a really good service that clients stay on, you then won't have to outspend all your competitors. They'll have to try and outspend you because you'll retain clients for longer. If you're earning 50K a month, and you're then dropping off a large number of clients each month, you're then having to refill back up to 50K a month before you can then grow. If you can essentially be reducing your churn as much as possible, you'll be able to scale way quicker and outperform your competitors. So if you structure your lead flow going from being very much one-dimensional to having phases and having intent behind your marketing, you'll scale a million times quicker.